The rain pounded on the windshield as Eliza clutched the steering wheel of the old sedan, her knuckles pale, her breath fogging the glass. She was only 17. 17 and sick. And yet, here she was, alone and desperate, driving to a place she didn't belong. The mansion stood at the edge of town like a forgotten monument. Gothic, cold, and impossibly tall. Its iron gates creaked as they opened, revealing stone steps that rose like a warning. The job description had been brief: live-in maid. Isolated location. High pay. Immediate start. Desperation overruled her fear. Her mother had died 2 months ago, pancreatic cancer. Fast, cruel, and devastating. Her father had vanished years before that. All that remained was a growing pile of bills and a diagnosis she hadn't dared share with anyone: lupus. A chronic illness that ate away at her joints and energy like rust on steel. Every step she took hurt, but she couldn't afford to stop walking. She needed money. She needed a roof over her head. She needed something to hold on to. She had no idea the dog would be the one to change everything. The woman who opened the door was tall and gaunt, dressed in dark wool. Her name was Ms. Halberd, the head housekeeper. "You're late," she said flatly. "I'm sorry." The storm. Save your breath. This house doesn't care for excuses. It expects results. Come in. The moment Eliza crossed the threshold, she felt it, a chill, deep and penetrating, not from the weather but from the air inside. The walls were high and bare, the halls too quiet. There was no music, no light beyond the dull orange flicker of antique sconces. "You'll clean the east wing," Ms. Halberd instructed. "No wandering. You don't speak to the family. You don't enter the study. You're here to work, not to ask questions." Eliza nodded, swallowing the lump in her throat. "And stay away from the dog," the woman added. "He doesn't like people." Eliza's room was in the attic. Barely a closet. A narrow bed, one dim bulb, and a window that never opened. But she didn't care. She had a job. Food. Shelter. The first week passed in a blur of aching limbs and forced silence. Every morning, she scrubbed the marble floors, dusted the grand chandeliers, and polished mirrors that never seemed to reflect warmth. Her joints swelled. Her fingers bled. Her skin broke out in rashes from the cleaning chemicals. But she kept going. She never saw the owners. Rumors whispered through the walls of a reclusive billionaire, his troubled wife, and a teenage son who hadn't been seen in public for over a year. The dog, however, saw her. It started on her 6th day. Eliza was wiping down the staircase when she heard claws clicking on the floor behind her. Slowly, cautiously, she turned. There he stood. Massive. A black German shepherd with eyes like amber flames. Muscles tense, ears alert, lips slightly curled. She froze. They stared at each other in silence. Then, he tilted his head. Took one step closer. And sniffed the air. Eliza held her breath, expecting a growl, a bark, anything aggressive. But the dog just whimpered. A soft, mournful sound. Then, he sat. From that day on, the dog followed her. He never barked. Never growled. Never attacked. Instead, he watched her with a strange intensity, like he knew something she didn't. When she collapsed in the hallway one morning from a flare-up, it was the dog who licked her face until she woke up. When she coughed blood into the sink, he was there beside her. When she cried silently at night, thinking no one could hear, he sat outside her door, keeping vigil. She started talking to him. Telling him things she'd never told anyone. Her diagnosis. Her fear. Her guilt for not saving her mother. Her loneliness. And the dog listened. One evening, as she scrubbed the tiled floor of the west corridor, a place she wasn't supposed to be, she heard a soft cry. Faint. Like a child. She paused. "Hello," she whispered. No answer. The dog, who had been lying nearby, stood up, alert. His ears perked. He trotted down the hall and stopped in front of a door with peeling paint. Room 207. It was locked. The dog scratched at it gently, then looked at her. Eliza hesitated. "We're not supposed to be here." But something in the dog's eyes told her this mattered. The next day, she stole a key from the cleaning closet. That night, when the house was asleep, she crept down the west corridor, the dog at her heels. Her heart pounded in her ears as she slid the key into the lock. It clicked open. Inside was darkness. And dust. And something else. A boy. He was thin. Pale. No older than 14. His wrists were bruised. His eyes hollow. He flinched when he saw her. I'm not supposed to talk to anyone," he stammered. "Who are you?" Eliza whispered. "I'm Lucas. They said I was sick. Contagious. But I'm not. I swear. I've just been locked up." Her stomach twisted. "Why?" "They said I embarrassed the family. That I had episodes. But I had anxiety. I cried in public. That's all. Then I got sent here." Eliza knelt beside him, tears in her eyes. "You're not sick. You're not crazy. You're a kid." The dog pressed his head against Lucas's shoulder. The boy smiled for the first time. Over the next week, Eliza smuggled him food. Blankets. Books. They whispered through the nights, trading pain and secrets. She told him about her illness, and he told her about the parties he was forced to attend as a child. The pressure. The shame. The punishment when he failed to act normal. "I used to have nightmares," he said once, "but when the dog's here, I don't." She nodded. "Me too." One morning, Eliza collapsed. This time, she didn't wake up on her own. The dog barked. Loud. Furious. Relentless. He howled until the butler and housekeeper came running. And when they saw her lying there, skin pale, lips blue, they panicked. An ambulance was called. Eliza, barely conscious, was rushed to the hospital. Lucas cried himself to sleep that night. But the dog didn't leave the door. In the hospital, everything came out. The doctors found her ID. The social worker called the authorities. A caseworker was sent to investigate the mansion. Eliza begged them, through shallow breaths and 4 lines, to check room 207. At first, no one believed her. Then the police arrived. Room 207 was opened. Lucas was found. And so was the truth. It became national news. Reclusive billionaire's son found hidden in mansion. Teenmate's collapse uncovers years of abuse. The father was arrested. The mother fled. The housekeeper was charged with child endangerment. The mansion was sealed. Eliza, still weak but alive, was placed in the care of a kind foster couple. Lucas was taken in by a distant relative who actually loved him. And the dog? The dog became a hero. He was adopted by Eliza. She named him Guardian. Today, Eliza is 21. She's in college, studying social work. She still lives with health challenges, but she faces them with the same quiet strength she always had. Lucas is thriving. Writing poetry. Giving speeches about mental health in teens. And Guardian still sleeps at Eliza's side every night. The lesson? Sometimes, truth hides in silence. Sometimes, strength comes from the most broken places. And sometimes, a dog sees what no one else dares to look at. Eliza was sick. She was tired. She was alone. But she had the courage to care. And Guardian had the heart to howl. Together, they changed everything. Because even in the darkest mansion, love can still find its way in.